Erick Erickson, editor over at Red State, was recently speaking at the Value Voter Summit about, well, what else? Religion, of course. And during that talk, he took a few shots at science and evolution. Let's watch.
We live in a day and age where there are a whole lot of people who tell us we don't have a purpose. The arguments couldn't be more clear in this age when so many people worship science as the end of all things. There are some who believe we were an accident of primordial goo, particles bumping into each other after the Big Bang, creating bacteria that created amoeba, that created something that led to something that led to something, a missing link. And then men. Somewhere in there, there's a monkey, apparently. And if we're an accident, we have no purpose, or our purpose is pleasure. The highest and best use of mankind is pleasure. To maximize pleasure and minimize pain. That was a Roman philosopher of the first century. Sounds like somebody you'd hear today on that Cosmos series on Fox. I see a world that is opposed to us in this room because we're headed home to eternity. We're just passing through. But while we're passing through, my parents always told me we've got an obligation to make this place better than when we left it. Better does not mean leaving people to moral relativism. Better does not mean leaving people to their own devices. Better does not mean telling people you got no purpose or go find your own purpose. Better means telling people there is a future, there is a last day, and there is a side. Pick a side and the right side wins.
There's so much wrong with that. There's so much wrong with that. First of all, Erick Erickson's understanding of evolution and science are pretty much on par with the toddlers. You don't believe in evolution, there's no faith. Okay? You don't worship science. Science is a process. Evolution is also a process. You cannot believe or worship a freaking process. That's like saying, gee, I'm going to go worship photosynthesis right now. No, that makes no fucking sense. The other thing is that they just don't understand how somebody could have a purpose without a book telling you what that purpose is. That's lazy. That's intellectually lazy. If you need a book to tell you what you're supposed to do with your life, as well as telling you to not be a dick to people, which, by the way, many right-wing Christians and other people absolutely fucking fail at, then maybe you're just not a good person to begin with, and maybe you need to check your own moral values. This is from a guy who supposedly champions individual freedom while searching for what to do with his life from a 2,000-year-old book. That's a little bit of irony right there, don't you think? As for the purpose of an atheist, which is who he loves to jab at all the time, it's not about pleasure, Eric. It's about learning. It's about actually gaining knowledge about who we are, our role in the universe at large, and it's also about spreading that knowledge around and defeating your kind of ridiculous, ignorant garbage so we can create a better world for everyone. Hey, wouldn't that be nice? We all create a better world for everybody. Even you, Eric. Even you. And speaking of creating a better world, as Erickson said, he said, well, we have an obligation to leave this world better than when we found it. You and your ilk are doing a fucking bang-up job, Eric. Seriously. He recently wrote an article titled, I simply don't care about global warming. I'm not kidding. It's over at Red State. He writes, the simple fact is that if they are right and the world is warming, there's nothing we can do short of an economic Armageddon to stop it. Well, he's right. You can't stop it because we've already fucked it up. The best we can do is start mitigating it so it doesn't get worse. Once again, he doesn't understand the process. He continues, let the seas rise, let the wind blow, we can adapt. Hey, you know what we can do with that wind? Harness it for power, dumbass. But, anyway, we can adapt. Well, we can adapt. Well, how would that happen, Eric? How can human beings adapt to the new climate? Well, my guess is that it won't happen with a prayer circle. You can't pray climate change away. You know what we need? We can do it with science. That's what we need, to invest more into science to help us adapt. The very thing you deride. Once again, it's irony. Lots of irony. Now, he also says, better does not mean leaving people to their own devices. Kind of like what you want to do with people on, say, minimum wage, who you say fail at life. People on minimum wage who work minimum wage jobs have failed at life. Once again, check out these articles. It's in print, red state. This guy has no idea how to be like the very people he says he's trying to be like. The Bible says you should be like Jesus. Well, he is absolutely doing it 100% wrong. And this is coming from somebody who's on the outside, who actually looks at the Bible, who actually read it. You know, the greatest tool for atheists is the Bible. Because when you read that thing, you come up with a lot of inconsistencies. And you can also look at it and then look at some of the prominent Christians, like Michelle Bachmann and Erick Erickson, and realize that they're doing it completely fucking wrong. He said, well, pick a side, and the right side wins. Hate to break it to you, Eric, but you're on the wrong side. The wrong side of history, the wrong side of logic and reason, and you're even on the wrong side of your own religion, because you simply do not practice what you preach.